Hello there. I thought I would do a quick little reading from book one of my Redneck Wizard urban fantasy series, the Jubal County Saga. Uh, in Where we're at here is our hero, Howard Marsh, is running through the woods chasing a puka that has taken possession of the carcass of a turkey. So, here we go. Within the woods, the rain was lessened by the tree limbs overhead, but the wind was still whipping the limbs to and fro. Coupled with the frequent lightning strikes, I was a little worried for my health. If the puka was manipulating the storm, then who was to say it wouldn't try calling down a bolt of lightning to fry me right up? Though the way the wind was blowing, a falling tree limb seemed just as likely to take me out the game. Dark forest surrounded me on all sides. I was in the midst of what looked to be mostly pines, and the ground was thickly blanketed with a bed of dead needles. What little undergrowth there was consisted mostly of briar thickets, which I did my best to avoid, but running through the darkness didn't make that easy. I stopped looking around me, trying to see if I could spot the puterka. Parker wants to help read. Oh, come. Okay. I stopped, looking around me, trying to see if I could spot the puterka. Mouthing a few words and flicking my fingers, I summoned up a ball of blue flame in the palm of my hand. It didn't do the best job lighting my way, but it was better than nothing. Wheeling around, I caught a glimpse of reflected light coming from a set of eyes near chest level. Hunched on the side of a pine was a squirrel, its rat-like body clinging to the bark, its tail flicking back and forth angrily. Beady little eyes stared at me, and before I could react, the damn thing launched itself through the air at me. Its small mouth was open wide, and its tiny little claws were grasping at me as though it aimed to rip my throat out. Jumping back, I smacked the squirrel out of the air, knocking it to the ground in the process. Its little teeth had hit my hand, leaving a tiny gash I could feel, but the squirrel had gotten the worse outcome. It was dazed, stunned by the force of my blow. I screamed as something latched onto my calf. Kicking out wildly, I slung another squirrel skyward as it shook loose. It took a small chunk of flesh with it as it hurled through the air. It stopped when it hit a nearby tree. It managed to hang onto the bark somehow, turning and chittering at me wildly. The one I had dazed was starting to try and chew into my boot now, which caused me to jump back. I could see that there were at least several more fucking squirrels skittering their way down a tree towards me, their beady little eyes all filled with blue flame and mayhem. I have a soft spot for small woodland animals, but fuck those squirrels. The closest caught an orb of blue flame to the face as I turned and took off running. Before I'd been jogging, but now I wanted space between me and those damn squirrels. I called up another orb, feeling it burn through more of my high, using up my carefully hoarded and drug-fueled power. Turning a squirrel into a tawny bonfire was one thing, but doing the same to a forest worth of squirrels? Well, I need a lot more drugs. And it suddenly occurred to me that I had left my box of Oblivion in the van behind the seat. Could you not? A quick glance behind me showed the squirrel BQ was sputtering out, the tiny rodent having not provided much fuel for the magical flames. In the dying light, though, I could see at least a half dozen or more squirrels and wood rats go scuttling past. Well, that's not good, I muttered, my smoker's lungs protesting at the wasted breath. That's the end of the chapter. Much chaos ensues, much like this reading. Look at that evil little face. Look at him. Why are you the way that you are? All right. I hope that caught your interest a little bit. If not, him's a portly boy and needs lots of cat food. So feel free to go buy some of my books to help keep this chunky boy fed. Yes. Oh. See y'all later.